welcome to the Talk Villa podcast. I'm your host, Sumit Paul, and in this episode, we're taking a look back at Aston Villa's 2-1 win over Tottenham to advance to the fourth round of the FA Cup. Goals from Buendia and Morgan Rogers put us in firm control of the tie at half-time, but as was to be expected, Spurs did produce a response in the second half and fought back. But it wasn't enough as we dug in and got the win, and we'll now await the draw to see who's up next for us in the fourth round. As with every game, I'll be discussing my 5 key talking points as we have a deeper dive into the win over Tottenham. But first, let's have a listen to the boss, Unai Emery, and his thoughts on the game as he spoke to Villa TV.
Good evening. It was really fantastic before the match when we knew they were with us. 9,000 people supporting us from Birmingham. Really fantastic. And this is the respect for this competition. I know last year we achieved the semi-final and they enjoyed it with us in London, but losing, but we got it. And for the supporters it's important. Of course, for the Aston Villa history and the respect for the history of us, winning 7 times this trophy, long time ago, but of course they are the trophy's ways as well, and we focused the match thinking our trajectory through the season in different competitions, how we are building the team, how we need to get experiences and play matches, showing as well our capacity. And we mixed those objectives. Firstly is FA Cup, and secondly the build of us with different players, with our structure, and individually get confident, feel comfortable, and how we compete and to win at the end, of course, is the process we are building. So happy for 9,000 people. They were with us here, for the supporters of us in Birmingham or all the world, and because we are continuing this competition and because we could add another more experiences individually and collectively today. The only issue that hopefully is not being a big injury is Kamara. Really, if something can feel myself as a negative, maybe is the injury of Kamara, and hopefully is not going to be a lot.
That was Unai Emery speaking to Villa TV after our 2-1 win over Tottenham in the FA Cup. So on to my 5 key talking points then, and let's start with a look at Villa's first half performance. I thought Villa were excellent in the first half, really impressed with the way we played. It was the perfect example, I thought, of how Emery wants us to play. Sharp, incisive passes through central passing lanes to cut Tottenham open and create chances. It starts with good intent with the press to win the ball higher up the pitch. But I think from that point onwards, the passing was crisp. The movement off the ball was excellent in particular. The finishing was emphatic from Buendia for the first and then Rogers for the second. I do have to say that Spurs made it a little bit easy for us, because I think you see so many teams now try to stop us from doing exactly what we did in this first half by packing the midfield, cutting off those central passing lanes. But I think we were excellent in taking advantages of the space that they left. We exploited it perfectly and we made the most of the chances we were able to create. As I say, it starts with that intent with the press. Once we've got that position into that position, higher up the pitch, and we're breaking at teams with speed, we quicken up the tempo of the passing. It's just 1-touch, 2-touch football. Great play from the likes of Marlon, Tielemans, McGinn, Rogers, Buendia for both goals. I just think we played really, really well in the first half. I think we came out too casual, too passive, perhaps a little bit complacent in the second half. That opened the door for Tottenham to come back into it. You knew they were going to react. There had to be a response from them because they were so poor in the first half and the fans are on their back. So I thought we dropped off a little bit to start the second half and that opened the door for them. But we dug in, got the win, and ultimately we are through to the next round, which was the most important thing. On to the second point, and that is Emi Buendia making a decisive impact. Now, although he is struggling for consistency, I think Emi Buendia is still producing big moments and quality in the final third when we need him to. I did see there was a little bit of negativity towards him during the week, and it does seem as though it's sort of a weekly thing where one specific player has to come in for some criticism from some sections. But I feel like it's largely unwarranted. Now, I know I'm biased because I'm a massive Emi Buendia fan, but ultimately I think he's just making his contribution as part of this squad. I don't think anyone expects him to be this world beater, world-class playmaker that delivers goals and assists week in and week out. I think he's making his contribution as part of the squad, and he's making decisive contributions, which is the most important thing. He's becoming a match winner in a number of games. It was a brilliant run off the ball and then his finish to score his goal. I thought the all-round play involved in that was brilliant from him. And just a delightful flick for the assist for Rodgers for the second. So big night for Buendia, and hopefully he can just add that touch of consistency to his game, and then he'll be a more prominent figure in this push for success in the second half of the season. On to the third point, and that is Morgan Rodgers continuing to make us tick. Rodgers himself was delighted after this game. He was speaking in his post-match interview and he's insisting that he's loving his own form right now, but he's also enjoying the form of the team as a collective. He's making us tick, I feel, with his quality in the final third, whether it's when he receives the ball, he turns, he runs at defenders and offers that direct threat. He's also showing a sort of an evolution, a development of his game where he's showing versatility and flexibility to pop up in space out wide, through the middle, and he's leading our charge in the attacking third wherever the space is. I think he's becoming a bit more tactically aware and positionally much improved. So that's obviously a lot to do with Emery and the coaching, but for him to get that picture on the pitch to see where he can be at his most dangerous, that's absolutely crucial for his game moving forward. I think he will be the player who is capable of driving us forward in this second half of the season towards our objectives, but also success in the form of silverware. So it's massive. If he can continue to make the difference and he can keep building his confidence and his form, keep evolving, keep developing his game and becoming a threat in different ways, then that's going to be huge for us, for him, obviously on a personal level, but for us as a more collective point of view, he's going to be huge. So hats off to him for continuing to impress, and hopefully he can maintain that. The fourth point is a bit more of a negative one, that is Boubacar Kamara's injury. So massive negative to start the game. In the first few minutes of it, Kamara was forced off with an injury. I thought it was a stupid challenge from João Palhinha. It was one that I thought he should have got a yellow card for, but didn't. And there was another one just prior to that on Matty Cash, which I was shocked didn't result in a booking either. So two big moments early in the game and neither resulted in a yellow card for Tottenham players. But for Kamara, he did try to run it off, but you could see he was in real discomfort as he was trying to do that. There was a positive sign in that he was able to walk down the tunnel himself. He wasn't stretchered off. He didn't need help. But there's still obviously massive concern now until an official update comes through, because we can't afford to lose him as well. We're already without Amadou Onana, who's set to be out for another 2 to 3 weeks as per Emery. Ross Barkley is also out for 2 to 3 weeks. Emery did say that Kamara will get a scan on Sunday, the day after the game, to discover the full extent of the problem. So fingers crossed, touch wood, hopefully Kamara hasn't sustained a serious problem and it is just one that he can get back to being available in the matchday squad at least next weekend or the following week. Turning it into a more positive in terms of injury news, there was the Pau Torres boost and Tyrone Mings being back on the bench as well as my fifth talking point from this game. So as I say, just to end on a more positive note, it was a crucial boost, I think, from an injury perspective to have Pau returning to the starting lineup. Obviously, we saw him on the bench in midweek, but we saw in this game just how influential he is for us in both phases. I thought numerous clearances to get rid of danger, whether it was deliveries into the box or cutting out danger through the middle on the floor. He was composed and just class in possession. He has that partnership with Ezri Konsa in the heart of our backline, which I believe is really potentially a major reason as to why we can go on and win something this season. I think those two together are excellent. And if they can stay healthy, stay consistent, continue to perform at a high level, they will be the bedrock and the sort of foundation for our ability to challenge for honours this season. We also had Tyrone Mings back on the bench as well, which was great to see. We've got depth now in the defensive positions. We've got Victor Lindelof, who showed great form prior to Pau Torres returning. So there's options there for Emery to rotate now as well with the FA Cup, with the Europa League returning, Premier League. It's good to see that we've got strong options in defence. So Mings being back is another massive boost, and so hopefully we'll see him make his contribution moving forward. So while we hope Kamara is okay, we are getting players back now. And as I say, Onana and Barkley are 2 to 3 weeks away from returning as well. So hopefully we're moving towards a stronger squad for the second part of the season. So what were your talking points from our win over Tottenham? If you're listening on YouTube, leave your comments below, or your questions. For those listening to the pod via Apple Podcasts, Spotify or other means, head over to talkvilla.substack.com and get involved in the conversation over there. So that's a wrap on this episode of the Talk Villa podcast. A big thank you for taking the time to listen as always. I really do appreciate it. Please subscribe to the pod or channel depending on where you're listening. So that's either on Apple Podcasts, Spotify or YouTube. Give the episode a like if you've enjoyed it, or leave a review if you've enjoyed it. Sign up to the Talk Villa Plus newsletter on Substack for ad-free Villa news, opinions and analysis, all delivered directly to you. And there is also an option of a paid subscription for bonus content. All the details will be in the description of this podcast, but for more, please go to talkvilla.substack.com and subscribe there. So, as I say, Villa booked their spot in the fourth round of the FA Cup after seeing off Tottenham. Another deep cup run would be great this season. After the disappointment of how last year's run ended, we're hopefully able to push on and be in the mix again this season. It's not going to be easy. We've seen how competitive the domestic cups are in recent years. Emery will have to weigh up as well and find that balance with the Premier League and the Europa League at some point. Let's hope our injury issues don't worsen, while we're also potentially seeing reinforcements arrive this month. We saw Alisson it was hinted by Emery that he was going to be involved in this game, but unfortunately we didn't get to see him involved on this occasion. But we'll see whether or not he's involved next weekend against Everton. But there's obviously ongoing transfer speculation over incomings and outgoings. We'll see how all that plays out and how much stronger the squad is by the end of the month. But for now, let's enjoy this win. It's a week now to prepare for Everton at home as we try to get back to winning ways in the league. Obviously, we were held by Crystal Palace in midweek. I'll be back next weekend to discuss that game and more, possibly with a midweek bonus episode, depending on any transfer activity. We're obviously being linked with a number of young players at the moment. We'll see if any of that turns into official confirmed deals. And Emery, again, hinted, as he mostly does in every transfer window, there might be outgoings as well to perhaps make space for new faces. So we'll have to wait and see who potentially leaves this month as well. But as I say, I'll be back after the Everton game for more analysis on that one. Until then, great win, up the Villa.